Welcome to How to Code Reading Behaviors with Running Records. I'm your host, Dr. Julie Webb, creator of LitCentric.com. We're going to be covering the 9 most common codes that you'll use in running records so that you can understand what your students are doing, maybe what they're neglecting, and how you can help them. This is a 9-part video series, and we want you to stick around for all 9 videos. Now, some of you may be new to running records, and some of you, maybe you just want a refresher or want to make sure that you're doing things as accurately as possible so that you're getting the best information that you can. Running records are a big investment in your time and in your expertise, and I want to make sure that you can do the best job for yourself and for your students. Now, in this first video, we're going to be talking about how to code correct reading behavior. Now, it's really the simplest one, and so this is a good video to start with if you're new to running records. Now, before we dig in, I want you to hit subscribe below and ding that little bell up at the top of your page there so that you get notified every time a new video drops to LitCentric's YouTube channel. And make sure you stick around today because at the end of the video, I'm going to show you how you can get a coding cheat sheet that you can use not only to help you make sure that you're coding correctly, but what in the world all these codes mean, what they could be telling you about your readers. So stick around and let's get started. All right, let's get started understanding how to code correct reading behavior. We've got a simple sentence up here that we'll be using. We like to play. Now, it doesn't matter how complicated the sentence is. All of the codes that you'll use most commonly in running records can be used with any type of sentence and in any level of book with any student. That's kind of the nice part. Once you learn the codes and become more fluent in using them, you can take a running record on any kid, anytime, anywhere with any book. So to code our correct reading, it's pretty simple. All we need to do is put a tick mark. Now, a tick mark is really just a check mark. If a student reads correctly, we like to play, we follow along and give a tick mark above each word. We like to play. Pretty simple, right? Now, the thing to remember is that when you're coding a running record, the behavior that the student does goes above the word, and anything the teacher does goes below. Now, this actually is a really simple code to learn, but it's something I don't want you to overlook because here we do have the text from the book written here for us, but most running records that you take are going to be on a blank piece of paper or some other kind of note-taking system that you designed for yourself. And you're going to need those tick marks to show where students actually read a word because each of those tick marks stands for a word in the text. So whether you have the words here or you don't have them, it's important to understand where students were in the text and how that correct reading looked over time. Now, something also to note, in sentences like this that are short and sweet, and especially in those earlier reading levels, kindergarten, first, even in some second grade reading levels, it's usually not too hard to keep up with a student with those tick marks. But if you've got a fast reader on your hands, someone whose rate is really high, or especially an older student who sounds very, very fluent, you can actually skip doing those tick marks and just make sure you're coding the other reading behaviors. It's not really that important or helpful to you to try to keep up with a kid who reads really fast just to get the accurate reading. If you know it's correct, just go ahead and skip this part and focus on the other codes that you'll actually need. Now, I promised you a free resource and I'm going to deliver. Now, I've created a course just for you called Running Record Bootcamp. It's an online course you can take at your own pace, in your pajamas if you want to, and it's really affordable. Now, this is the running record course I wish I had had when I first started teaching. Instead of, begging my colleagues for help and reading in books that didn't translate very well to what I was trying to do, or attending very minimal or non-existent district training. So this is the course that will really help you understand to go even beyond simple codes into what those codes mean and actually how you can help your students. The Running Record Bootcamp will build your confidence so that you know exactly what the next moves you need to make in order to help your students learn to read well. One of the most exciting parts about Running Record Bootcamp are the demonstrations that are in it. Now, gosh, if I had only had those when I started teaching first grade years ago, life would have been a lot easier and I would have gotten up to speed a lot faster with my running records. In Running Record Bootcamp, I demonstrate a real running record with a real child from the beginning to the end, no edits, so you can see how long it really takes and what it looks like from beginning to end from what the teacher's doing and from what the student's doing. And not only that, you actually get to see me code in real time to see how I'm trying to keep up with that student read, as well as demonstrations of how to score, how to analyze, and then how to create meaningful reading goals so that you're actually making the best use of those running records to respond to your students and inform your instruction. Now I want you to click the link below in the comments, and that'll take you to the Running Record Bootcamp page, and that's where you're going to find your free resource to download, and you can download it right now. It's called the LitCentric Common Codes Cheat Sheet, and that cheat sheet is going to give you the 9 most common codes that we're talking about in our video series, as well as what they could be telling you about your students. You're not going to want to miss it.